Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the NewsX Business World Atmanirbhar Bharat series. We have now literally spoken with hundreds of entrepreneurs over almost 60 episodes as we enter our 12th week doing this special 1-hour broadcast dedicated to a singular cause, to tap into the minds of one of India's finest wealth creators, people who are actually doing their jobs, who understand what's required for their businesses, and more importantly, as a communicative to all of us watching this on this national telecast, that we have great things happening right here in India. Until our mind space is thinking local, we won't get there. There are so many things to discuss. The economy is one of them. What we can do with China has been the other. Their companies, their futures, because all of us are on this same boat, and the boat is called India. We all have to ride it high together. Joining us now on the broadcast, we have Mr. Shalabh Upadhyay. He's the founder and CEO of NEW New. Mr. Nitish Mukherjee, independent consultant, and joining us on the broadcast, Mr. Uma Shankar Bhardwaj, founder and CEO of, is it IN Avatar Digital, roughly?
Digital.
Yeah, there you go. So you can correct me. Mr. Anil Antony. He's joining us on the broadcast as well. Mr. Subhash Jha, he is CEO of Legal Salah Solutions Private Limited. Ms. Shruti Chaturvedi is founder of Chai Pani Media. And of course, as always, Dr. Anurag Batra, he is editor-in-chief of Business World. Anurag ji, set up this debate for us.
Thank you, Rishabh. Let me start with Nitish. Nitish, you've been in the business environment for the last 40 years. We know that this environment is very different. You've been in advertising, and they say you should advertise in good times, you must advertise in bad times. So do you think advertising can create demand, and how do you see the economic activity in demand going forward over the next 2-3 months? Nitish Mukherjee.
Thank you for inviting me, Anurag. There are two things. One is, of course, the businesses, and one is the economy. I don't think you can talk up the economy by advertising. There are steps that really need to be taken to put the economy back in place. You need to have a proper fiscal policy. You need to make sure that money is reaching the right places. You need to be sure that you're creating the right environment. It's also a fact that India does not have deep pockets, and therefore it has to be strategic. But I leave it at that for this moment. Let's talk about businesses. Yes, it would be presumptuous of me to say that advertising alone can help businesses at this point in time. But is it one of the strong things that can be used in the toolkit? Yes, it is. But it's beyond advertising. It's looking at the core strengths of the brand and what you really need to leverage. Because you have to understand that there are probably two very important things to put businesses back on track. One is agility. You need to be agile. You need to do things. You need to figure out if you're doing the right things. If you're not doing them, you need to move on. Do other things. The second thing that you really need to do is you really need to be creative. You really need to think outside the box. But when you say creative, you can't just be creative for the sake of being creative. You need to go to the core of the brand and be able to leverage that. And I think, yes, advertising agencies who have been good partners to their clients are in a good position to do that, and obviously should be consulted. But it is one of the things that need to be done. Many more things need to be also looked at.
Okay, Nitish, what I also wanted to ask you is, Diwali is on 14th November, IPL is happening. Do you see that the next 3 months will make up for the loss of advertising over the last 5 months, or even that is not going to happen? It'll be a temporary kind of upswing, and then we're back to a long haul before we see demand and advertising coming back. What's your view?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a Z curve as far as advertising is concerned. So you will see a peak in advertising, but please understand that the sales that are happening are primarily online sales. We must understand this pandemic is very deep. It has hit both on the demand side and it has hit on the supply side. While online has really helped to fuel demand for certain specific products, electronic products, you have cell phones, so on and so forth, which will actually sell during this period of time. There is just so much that you will be able to do. So yes, I see a blip coming, but I also see it going down once the season is over. Because strategically, everyone is going to try and use Diwali to make 60% of their sales. And this is mainly going to be online. I don't think the pop and mom stores are going to do as well.
Okay. At this point, let me go to Shalabh. Shalabh, you heard Nitish make his opening comments. One, has you seen any startups, companies around you benefiting from the economic stimulus? And where do you see the business and economy headed?
Thank you for inviting me to the debate, sir. I believe that for young startups, this is actually a big opportunity to actually break away from the herd. While, of course, the pandemic has happened and, of course, there have been issues for every person involved. But I think this is also a huge opportunity for people, for companies, for especially young startups to really start doing things and actually start defining the new normal. Because young startups don't have the usual liabilities of having a lot of resources. They're used to working in a lean way. So it makes sense that young startups, companies that are starting, entrepreneurs now start looking at what are the new experiments that you can change, or you can do, because the cost of doing an experiment right now is very low. So you can try different things, you can sort of see where the market is headed, make changes according to it without actually incurring a lot of losses. And at the same time, be part of the process to define the new normal. In terms of the economic stimuluses, I think they can only benefit so many in a country such as India, where the population is so vast and the resources are so finite. So I think it's a good start. Do I believe that that's the only thing or that will absolutely make things okay? Absolutely not. But to me, this is more an opportunity for younger sort of startups to really start making a name for themselves, provide that unique proposition, that unique value proposition that brands are looking
and differentiation.
For. Absolutely. And this is the best time because you can experiment a lot. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Shalabh, you've been hiring and, you continue to be in a growth stage. I know you raised money early last year or a little earlier than that.
Yes, sir.
But a lot of startups are not in your position. Either their revenues have come down to very low values or they've not been able to raise money or both. So there is a fear that a lot of startups may actually not survive over the next 60, 90 days. Is that a fear, real fear?
I believe that's obvious. I would say that's a very real fear. But the way I see it, for any startup, whether you're funded or not, you're working with 10% of what you require in order to actualize your dreams, right? So we're used to sort of working in a very strict budget to try and see what are the new hacks, or like in India, say jugaad, what are the different jugaad that we can come up with. So this is a
and
test
frugal
of,
and frugal innovation. I call jugaad frugal innovation, because in India, cost matters, at what unique price you do something matters.
Yeah, and I think this is the time when you actually get to see the startups that are really going to provide a value proposition to brands, as well as this will be a great filter for those who are just starting up a startup because it's at school, right? So this is a baptism of fire. Absolutely. So this is the time that I think the ones that are able to sort of survive and thrive during this are the ones that are going to be creating waves for the next 10, 15 years to come. So this is a competition for every startup.
Shruti, the future of work is something that we talk every day. What is the future of work? Is it flexi working? I don't call it work from home, I call it flexi work. Do we need an office space in the future? What should be that office space? I know you work from Goa. You shifted to Goa 3-4 years back. Tell us, after pandemic, physical location doesn't really matter that much. You realize that pretty early. How does it feel? And second, mental well-being has become very important for leaders, for individuals, and for corporates. Give us your opening comments on these three aspects.
Absolutely. So we moved to Goa 2 years back, and since then we've been working to make our infrastructure very work from anywhere, not just work from home. You should be able to work from anywhere. But again, it depends industry to industry, and it won't be applicable to almost every other industry. Office spaces have a place of their own. अगर हमको shoots करने हैं, अगर हमको conferences करने हैं, we need our office space to be there. However, I think the entire market is going to change. I think people have already become accustomed to working from anywhere, working from home. But yes, like you said, it's taken a huge toll on the mental well-being of a lot of people, because office jana hum bahut sare logo ke liye, it used to be an escape from the house.
That is cathartic. And we have social relationships at work.
Absolutely.
There is
We
a
have our best
certain
friends at
pleasure
work.
to having a coffee with someone. So yes,
And we are social beings, and we have our best friends at work. And आज अगर हम वर्क फ्रॉम होम बोल रहे हैं, नॉट एवरीबडी इज प्रिविलेज इनफ कि हाँ हर एक के पास एक अलग से रूम होगा काम करने के लिए, द काइंड ऑफ demands that it has. But I think people are working through it. I think it comes to the entrepreneur on how easy do you make it for your employees to be able to get through this. And I think historically we've been very resilient in such times. So I think mental well-being wise, like in our company at least, like we take a lot of different initiatives to keep our employees engaged. But it is indeed a tough time, and I don't think any motivational speech can undo it.
and what about your revenues? Have you seen your revenues go to a level that it has made it unsustainable, or because you're in the digital space, you've seen your revenues go up?
I think
Tell us what has happened to you.
Yeah, fortunately, very rarely for us the revenue has gone up. We've seen a very, if not up, at least it's been stagnant, and we did not have to lay off people. I think especially because we're in the digital space, advertising space, and brands have realized that they should, like you said, advertise in the bad times for sure. So I think revenues have been stagnant that way. However, like you said, Diwali is approaching, or Diwali पे एक अलग आपका revenue projection होता है. So I think all those Excel sheets need to be revamped for now. Yeah.
Fantastic. Anil, you represent the startups on this panel since you mentor startups, you invest in startups. Tell us, what is the kind of sentiment you get when you talk to your friends who are entrepreneurs? Do you see a lot of them kind of shutting shop in the next few months? How are they pivoting? What are they doing to deal with this very difficult economic situation?
Thank you, Dr. Batra, first of all, for inviting me to the show. And one of my panelists, Mr. Mukherjee, already pointed out before, this pandemic is actually creating a scenario which is creating problems in both the demand side as well as the supply side. This is not a good climate for private investment. This is not a good climate for consumption. This is not a good climate for even, let's say, exports.
When you say climate, you mean environment and
Exactly.
sentiment-wise.
So it's a very difficult scenario as far as all these is concerned, and unless we see, like, as long as this pandemic is looming over us, it is very difficult for us to imagine something like a growth. It is only like how much fall we can prevent. That is the unfortunate scenario, right?
When do you see the sentiment becoming positive? I know there is a fear factor, but at least in Delhi, I can say people have started to use the social distancing, mask, sanitization, and using that they have started to, in some way, resume normal life. Offices are still not fully functional, but going out, meeting people. You see much more activity in Delhi in the last 2 weeks. I can tell you about Delhi. Rishabh was talking last week about traffic being almost 90% back, which is true in Delhi. So is the sentiment improving, or it depends from state to state and sector to sector and so on?
So one, I would say it is very sector to sector, and two, like I previously mentioned, the looming pandemic actually has a lot to say in it. Like, for example, already we have seen cases in Italy, in Spain, etc., where the second wave, suddenly there is a rise. Even in Delhi, like the last 2 weeks, like number of cases were very down, and suddenly, like, you're seeing like upswings and downswings, and then people's sentiment also changed drastically. But at the same time, something else which like already a couple of my panelists have pointed out is, like, it depends on the sector. Like, for example, despite all the mood and despite all the gloom and gloom, like what you're seeing is, like, for example, in the IT sector, like the stocks in the IT sector in all the US.
I have a different view there. I think the stock market doesn't mirror
that doesn't reflect
what is happening on the real street.
Yeah, scarily
The last in the real street are
for example, like,
disconnect, so to say.
I would say certain indicators, like, for example, despite everybody struggling to, let's say, get consumers, like you had an app like Zoom, which almost had 300 million downloads in 3 months. Or like people are trying to work from home. People are trying to, like, move on with their life despite, like, staying home. So there are certain little avenues where you can still see a lot of growth in this bad environment also.
Okay.
Then, like, For example, in manufacturing sector, like right now there is a global, let's say, a lot of changes that is happening where people are trying to like move off from
Disruption in
China.
the supply
So
chain,
there are
especially if you have China involved,
Yeah.
right?
So there are little opportunities, but at the same time, overall, it's a very difficult plan.
And have you stopped investing in startups, or you continue to do angel investing and mentoring startups?
So from like again, like from what I'm seeing from all the investors who I'm familiar with in the startup space, right now everybody are watching. Like it's not really an
So
investment.
pause. It's kind of making sure that you back your existing investments and make sure that they grow rather than jumping into new investments. Uma Shankar Bhardwaj, you come from the digital advertising domain. Have you seen an increase in digital advertising? Have you benefited from COVID, or you share the pain of some of the panelists on this show?
No, definitely digital advertising or any advertising which is connected with the market. So definitely and June was, April and May was little difficult. From June it started picking up when market has started opening, like when we started unlock, then same way it's improving. So now I think from last 2 months, it's quite good. And even if we talk about all the different markets, so we are receiving campaigns from different categories. Automobile and everything has started well. And even in, like we have business in multiple countries, so from other countries also started getting.
So what have you done, Umar, to be able to deal with, let's say, degrowth, which is temporary? Hopefully, next 3 months in digital, you will make up for some of the past degrowth. But what have you done to be able to deal with reduced revenues? Have you let go people, or have you put them on leave without pay, furlough? What have you done to deal with falling revenues?
Not really. We haven't let go anybody, and everybody is working, and they are working from home. So in the difficult time, like or we can say when we were having less business, so we started working on products. So everybody was working from home, and we every day morning 10 o'clock we connect with the on Zoom, and we discuss what everybody is going to do every day. So we work on technology. So definitely, like it was kind of investment to the organization, but the technology started scaling now. It's giving benefit too.
Okay, Uma. Sujit, you're the last to make your opening comments. One, what has the pandemic done to your business? I know you're a legal consulting startup, Legal Salah. So tell me, has the litigation gone up? And do you see once the moratorium goes away, litigation going up even further? So give us your opening comments, Sujit.
Yeah, basically litigation is because of this moratorium and this pandemic situations. A lot of vendors are unable to pay. Right, when there's a payment, there will be a check bounce matters. There will be litigation. Yeah. They will, and once this is gone, then there will be significantly rise in litigation, because everybody is settling down. Okay, let's September go away, and then we will push our vendors to pay us. And once this pushing in the start, and then the litigation has to go. Our business, since we are into a digital legal tech company, we are helping all startup and SMEs to get their work, statutory compliances and taxations and legal work to be done from the comfort of their home. So yeah, we are in a good position, to be very honest. But looking at our client, yeah, definitely there's this crisis has hit them very hard. People doesn't have even money to fuel their ongoing litigation process, right? So this situation will be there, but if we see that the courts are also very lenient in this front. They are actually not taking up a lot of matters where the check bounce or the amount value is lesser, right? If you have heard this, there's in IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, the limit has gone to 1 crore, which was 1 lakh. So similarly, the government is also pushing,
Okay.
options
I don't know if that's
where
a good
litigation can
thing,
be thrown.
Shubham, to happen in terms of a less litigious society, or in this case, maybe a more is required. But just tell us a little bit about how does your platform operate? Can you help our viewers understand how do you guys function?
So,
If I want to
yeah,
get
yes,
if
sir,
I want to get legal salah
yeah,
from you, how do I do it?
Surely. So basically, how we do is like we have an app and website where you have check bounce matter, or you have divorce matters, and you are looking for the lawyers, and you're looking for consultant to talk to and get
So
your.
are you the
increase-
lawyer matchmaking service?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
We are basically, we are not matching, law matching, basically lawyer matching. Basically we provide end-to-end solutions. Even if you are into a tax problem or you're into a compliance problem, we give the solution.
Okay,
for
so
that
can I do it all on the app, or once I'm on the app, you actually assign some lawyers and who I speak to? How does it work?
Correct.
Okay.
We assign the project managers to handle all your problems.
To handle the cases
All
from there,
your,
okay. Instead of
yeah.
using the old network of asking a friend to find you a
Correct.
lawyer, we all know a lawyer,
Correct,
don't worry,
correct.
and doing it that way. Okay, let me ask the same question to Shalabh Upadhyay. Shalabh, can you help our viewers understand, what is Nuge? Do you call it Nuge or Nuge?
Nuge.
Nuge. Okay, what is Nuge all about, and how? What's your go-to-market strategy?
So we're a tech startup that focuses on getting social video content directly to the consumers. So instead of focusing on creating an app or creating a website, what in delivery services you called home delivery. We see where the viewers already are. So they're on different platforms, and instead of asking them to come to us, we go directly to them with visual storytelling. And the go-to-market strategy is that instead of focusing as a tech media company on creating a platform, we want to focus on creating good content, and we want to focus on emerging technologies.
Okay, so do you guys create content or do you source content?
We create content and source content both.
Okay, all right, both. Let me ask Anil the same question. Anil, is it Pi Digital? Is that the logic?
Hi Rishabh, it's Pi India. It's
Yeah, so Pi,
Parliament
yeah,
Elections
so-
with Innovate for India.
Yeah, so can you help us understand now what exactly you guys are doing?
So we are actually a COVID-19 national action group with like I am an entrepreneur myself, but right now like this organization, it's a new action group that was created during the COVID times with different innovators and think tanks and academic institutions and even 14.
Yeah, we did cover the news when it happened. So yes, it is. How's it going?
So far, we had been trying to make a difference during the COVID times, and we have some fairly interesting projects that are going on. For example, one of them is it's a concept where we are converting vacant spaces into COVID-19 recovery centers and quarantine centers, which have happened in multiple states across India. Then a few other innovative low-cost technology solutions have been executed. Like, for example, in one of the airports in Kerala, like we have executed like in India's first smart temperature screening gate, a large-scale temperature screening gate. So that has been executed.
So is this the kind of thing which you walk past it and it comes up on a screen and kind of thing like that?
Exactly. Yeah. So
Okay.
that has been there. And then like in another state, like there is a project which is going on, which is actually an AI tool that helps to identify like COVID clusters in advance.
So Anil, how are you doing it? Are you tapping your own network of people who in the tech space that you know of? Are you tapping it through a political network, or are you just reaching out and crowdsourcing people with ideas, people with coding skills and bringing them together?
So initially, like we had a huge program for reaching out to people, and the first week itself, I think we had almost 308 different proposals that came to us with different proposals that come to us.
Fascinating.
On low-cost innovations, and by now, like we almost have 500 plus proposals, and we have around 25 very like nuanced industry experts who go through. Different proposals and we select.
Okay, let me just rope in Shruti. Shruti, can you tell us what Chai Pani Media now? Is it just digital advertising? What do you guys do?
So Chai Pani essentially is a media platform for more positive, more meaningful news. So we try to make sense out of news and try to give more of constructive journalism to our readers. So that is one part of it, and second is we run a advertising and a PR company. which is called Chai Pani Studios. So yeah, these are two parts of the business.
Okay, so when you see yourself as a tech firm or a news firm? I don't know how to define myself right now, whether we are a tech firm or a news firm. I think the merging is happening. No, because I think what Shalabh was trying to say that they don't see themselves as a tech firm per se. They are looking at a content strategy which is more important than creating a tech platform. What are you guys trying to do?
Absolutely. I think content leads the game, but I think without technology, we wouldn't scale as much. So I think we'd still call it a content tech platform because tech plays a very, very important role in how we scale, how we reach out to the people who we want to reach out to.
Okay, let me put the same question to Mr. Bhardwaj. Mr. Bhardwaj, so avatars, I mean, is it just core online, publicity, media campaigning, or do you have other verticals as well?
No, you can say like a digital advertising company. So we work with different publishers. So we work with almost 3,000 publishers worldwide, and we monetize their inventory and optimize the campaigns for clients. And we have few technologies which optimize those inventory in very good way. So we provide the audience on demand as well.
So I mean, is a lot of the work you do is it
programmatic? Which is linked to
programmatic,
technology-led advertising, which is
programmatic innovation
of human beings.
Yeah, so is AI figuring out where my ads are placed better rather than somebody trying to place it physically, I don't know, in Facebook ads, something like that. Okay, a quick word before I take a break and we come back to a more free-flowing conversation with Mr. Mukherjee. Mr. Mukherjee, now, a purpose of, why Dr. Batra and we here at NewsX are doing this is to give people at large a better grip of the amount of, young entrepreneurs who are out there and the amount of wealth creation activity that there is happening in India, even amidst the worst economic and health disasters. Is this a period for you in terms of advising people with new companies or nascent companies, a period to hold on and survive, or is it a period to go for broke?
That's a great question to ask, really. And the truth is that, when you have a crisis like this, I think Shalabh somewhere touched on it, but a new economy emerges at the end of the day. And there are new winners and the whole structure changes. Now, I'm not talking about the really large ones. The really large ones will anyway make it, and they will make it in one shape or the other. But if you look at the SMEs, if you look at the startups, there are huge possibilities out there. Now, how do you really bring these possibilities to life? And I have this theory of the 3Ds, okay? And you have to have agility. If you're a startup, you have to have agility. And you have to dream, you have to do, and you have to have the courage to destroy. So therefore, if you stop dreaming, if you just look at the challenges, and if you're doing a barrier resolution, you will fail. But if you look at the possibilities and you dream about the possibilities and you actually execute to bring those possibilities to life, you will probably do extremely well. However, it's best to prototype and it's best to destroy if it's not working. So therefore, you need agility, you need that appetite for risk, and you need to actually go for broke. Because remember one thing, whether it was the war, whether it was the depression, every time there were some winners that came out. There will be losers, but there will be great winners. The question is who you're going to be. Okay,
very interesting entrepreneurs here. I need to take a break. For us who have been in mainstream media pretty much all our careers, I wish we could, Anuragji, go for broke. But we are constantly being told that the industry itself is broke. We've been going for broke for too long. Maybe a new version is required. I need to take a break, guys. We come back in a minute.
Yeah. Say that sometimes you have to creatively destruct to create afresh.
Creatively destroy.
We've gone broke in that way.
Okay, creatively destroy. I have had to learn how to do Zoom Jugaad and Skype Jugaad in the past 4 or 5 months.
Actually, that's a very interesting thought. We need to get back to that.
Yeah, I promise you, as an editor of a news channel, I know my HDMI cables better than anyone now, and how to convert HDMI into S-video. All these cables that are currently operating this Zoom chat have been put by me, my own hands. Sanitized hands, I promise you. In the midst of an engaging conversation, and I promise you, I find it fascinating every time I sit in. You get to meet some brilliant people who come up with brilliant ideas, are building great companies, many of them being very successful from scratch. Many have great track records, and we get not only a glimpse of where they are headed, but through them a glimpse of where India is headed. Dr. Anurag Batra, have you seen it? Have you seen a change, in the course of these conversations from maybe it was 2 or 3 years ago? Startups have been happening in India. Innovation has been happening. But have we gone through that wave that we are in a new era, new orbit now?
Yes, I would say 3 changes, Rishabh. First is, which I've said that may sound very simple, but may not have happened earlier, was costs have to be lesser than revenues. I think when I talk to most entrepreneurs, and even on our show when we talk, I think people have rationalized their costs and they're talking of profitably month on month. Second, every business is benefiting from the Chief Digital Transformation Officer called COVID. Companies and organizations and businesses wanted to digitally transform in the last 3-5 years. They've achieved so much in 5 months, and their orientation has become so much better to be able to absorb technology and make it a leverage for their businesses improve. And third, I think for the first time, most entrepreneurs are saying never say never. They're having an open mind to look at what's not working, what's working, what may work. So everyone, right from entrepreneurs and colleagues, have more open mindsets. These 3 changes are across the board. 1, focus on profitability. Second, every business has to be a tech business or a tech-enabled business. And third, looking at oneself and what one does critically to be able to be relevant now and to be thriving in the future.
Anil, why don't you come in?
These are 3 things that have happened.
Yeah, Anil, Antony, why don't you come in on this? Because, operative culture, of you guys sitting together, listen, we're going to get a bunch of, creative people together. We have a problem. Let us try to do our bit to solve it. Government solving it, separate issue. State government, national government, separate issue. Let us now try to solve it. Has that culture changed, that this is now a problem solving generation that's come out? Anil, if you can hear us. Yeah, go ahead.
I can hear you. Rishabh, like you rightly said, like right now the problem which we are having, right, it's something unprecedented because we haven't seen a pandemic like this in our history. And right now this is forcing us to make changes which we would never have done. Like, for example, now we are all sitting home. We are all indoors, we are all practicing social distancing, wearing masks, etc. But we are trying to move on with our life. And the only way to move on with our life is to integrate technology. And therefore, whether it is a private organization, whether it is any kind of organization, if you can digitize and if you can use technology well, you have an opportunity to actually get ahead. When everybody
Anil, why don't you give us an example? Because you mentioned 300 odd projects. I mean, you as a group of people, seeing these, project proposals come your way, were you fascinated that, look, there are some ideas that even we could have never thought of?
See, there are so many, for example, this is a global health pandemic, which is actually common to any place across the world, whether we are sitting in India or the US or New Zealand or wherever it is, it's a health pandemic. And now from India, there is a lot of these low cost, innovative healthcare products that are coming up. For example, thermometers, which sensored thermometers so that we can measure our temperature without touch, or low cost biomedical devices, low cost even masks are coming up now. N95s are manufactured in India at 1/4 the cost. So there are a lot of these things that are coming up that can actually be translated to the global market. So these are all huge opportunities which will as long as this pandemic is there, if we actually have the capability to produce in India, this is a product not just for Indian market,
but is the buzz, because I'm being told that we are slipping in the world's largest startup markets. I think we've gone down a ranking or 2. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is, are we now seeing, Anil, Antony, an entrepreneurial culture in this country where we don't come out of college holding a CV in our hands, we come out of college running our own companies?
See, I would say there are numbers, but at the same time, when compared to the whole, let's say, if there are 100, I would say the success stories will always be especially in entrepreneurship, the success stories will always be 1 or 2.
Yeah,
so you can't just rely on, let's say, entrepreneurship just to get out of this economic
Okay, so I don't know,
situation
Mr. Mukherjee, do we take a contrarian perspective? You know, is this churn that's happening the worst thing to happen to India in 20 years, or could it be one of the best things because we are being forced to make so many changes? I mean, at least if nothing else, you know, last year we were even debating whether, you know, the focus is on the economy or should it be on Pakistan or something else. Now we know that the focus is on the economy. I know China has a problem, but even that has economic consequences. It has focused our minds as 1.3 billion people. Is there something to be gained from that focus?
Well, yes, I think there's something to be gained for this focus, but I think the price for gaining this is just too large. So I would never turn around and say that, you know, this was a good thing to happen for us to learn this. But I think some things come through very clearly in this, which is that going forward, if we don't have discipline, and if we don't have discipline means in the way we act, the way we behave, the way we spend, you know, we are really not going to be able to grow forward. You know, there are a whole lot of economies. You look at the Japanese economy, you look at the German economy, you look at the Swiss economy, and you see the kind of values that they've grown with. I think, you know, we have a lot going for us. And I think the story of India in the long term is great. But there are some things that we really, really, really lack. Hopefully, and I'm saying hopefully, some of them will come in as a function of...
Okay, so let's come, Anurag Batra, you know, we've been having these conversations, Dr. Batra, of the practical realities, that we have the brains, we have the talent, but, you know, if you want to make a mobile phone in India, you can't, right? You don't have a chip manufacturer. There are some fundamental roadblocks that still exist, which I don't know, is the solution an entrepreneurial one, or does it require intervention from the state?
Rishabh, I'll tell you, there are three ways you have to look at entrepreneurship. First, why are you an entrepreneur? Second, what is the kind of product services? For example, are you building for India, or you're building for the world from India because there's a cost arbitrage or the product's origin is here? And third is, do you want to be a bootstrapped, I mean, I'm simplifying it. Do you want to be a bootstrapped, self-funded startup, or do you want to be able to scale up very fast by giving equity or taking debt? Now, what has happened is in the last 10 years, the entrepreneurial mindset has flowered in India. It has blossomed. But we have a long way, because as I've said earlier, we only celebrate success. We do not celebrate failure in this country. And the cost of capital in India is the highest across the world.
It's insane.
Between these two things, it was earlier very difficult. But now with exits happening, lots of successful products, the ideas which became big, opportunities arising out of COVID. I mean, I know of 20 startups that are now working with the government to solve problems that COVID has created.
Correct.
And they are world class in the way they do. So I think we still have a long way to go.
Okay.
But in the last 6 months, people who have had the right ideas, tenacity.
Okay, like I said, crisis focuses attention.
Able to come up with ideas on their feet, implement them, and I'm sure they'll be very big as they go along.
Yeah, there's a high price to pay.
Entrepreneurship is a mindset.
But you know, I promise you, you know, a year ago I would have never been able to. I wouldn't have recommended, wouldn't have thought through, and never done on national TV every night in prime time for what is it? How many weeks I've been done? I think we didn't do 60 plus episodes. That's 60 hours of programming. Because if I told the viewers you watch 60 hours of economy-based programming, everybody would have, you know, died out of boredom, let alone anything else. But you know, Shalabh, let me then ask you this question, and ask a lot of entrepreneurs to join us on this show. Are you guys trying to solve a problem that you see exists? Okay, or are you saying, look, this is, you know, the Steve Jobs or, you know, the Bill Gates moment where we have a vision that there has to be a computer on every desktop in the world, and we are there to conquer the world. Which is the approach you guys take?
I believe it's a mixed approach, which is that there is a demand that exists that is undersupplied, and we want to fulfill that space. And the idea is that with Jio sort of starting a digital revolution in India, you have an entire market that is not being catered to, that did not exist before because they did not have the access or the means. And our idea is that we want to capitalize on that market. We want to tell stories for that market. We want to, right now, News, in a year and a half, we're now publishing in 7 different languages across India. The idea is because there's a lot of Indians who just joined the internet. And for them, you need to have content.
But how do you face the same problem that the rest of us traditional media guys face, is that, you know, people come and watch, but they don't want to pay for it?
Well, you still have advertisers, right? And advertisers also have not figured out what social advertising is. I mean, your social or digital advertising is as different from television as television advertising is from newspaper.
Correct.
So it looks into how people are, how they react, how their consumption patterns work. And that's why for us, tech is not just creating a platform, right? We're not, anybody can create a platform, anybody can create an app.
Okay, but it's
today.
content creation, I mean, scalable to the level you're saying 7 languages, over 7 languages already. So how do you scale content creation?
We're producing 250 pieces of content in 7 different languages on a weekly basis. And this is after the pandemic. So the idea is to let tech enable you in a way that enhances your productivity. So for us, tech is not about creating an app.
No, give me an example. Give me a practical example. Let me take some advice from you. Now, what do you do when you say tech means what? Do I go for AI voiceovers? That's a tech solution. When you're saying tech, what is the solution that you're finding that's making life easier and more cost efficient?
Well, our tech is about computer vision, which is looking at computer frame, which is looking at a video frame, coming up with data points so that we can better inform our own editors on what the headline needs to be, or what the first card or the first visual needs to be, because you've done data-backed A/B testing on it. You've looked at how different data points are correlating. And that's what you take to a brand, saying that, you know what, I know the first 10 seconds on how to get consumers involved.
Interesting.
Which is why at this point, our content is very sticky, to say.
Okay, so more people watch longer because you're doing algorithmic searching on what is making people stick longer, other than what we do is traditional guessing through experience. We call it experience, but it's mostly guessing. Let me ask the same question to Mr. Bhardwaj. Mr. Bhardwaj, when we are using artificial intelligence solutions to advise clients on how best to utilize the monies that they put outside for advertising, what is then your tick mark? How does new advertising work? Is it about impressions? Is it about views? Is it about clicks, hits, buys, product image? How do you guys measure yourself?
Now it's going towards audience. So let's say if we have 100 websites, different websites. So maybe company's CXO, he's visiting 10 websites. So you need to identify who is the user. So when with the using technology, we need to identify the audience, which type of audience you want to target. So definitely audience on demand is quite good these days.
Okay, yeah. So how do we do it in an environment where you are, Shubham, for example, right, where lawyers are not allowed to advertise per se, right? And you come up as a tech solution, are you guys allowed to advertise? Can you have a go-to-market strategy where you can have customer acquisition and push yourselves as a platform and scale?
Yeah, definitely we can. Sorry.
Yeah, Shubham, go ahead.
No, you please basically, see, we are not advertising a lawyer. Basically, we are advertising the solution.
Okay.
The solution which we are providing, we are advertising that. We are advertising the solution that even if you are sitting in any corner of the world, you can have an access of a good lawyers, good CAs, good CS, at under one roof.
So Shubham, what do you, I mean, do you think of yourself as an aggregator? Do you think of yourself as a tech solution? Do you think of yourself as a service provider? How do you guys vision yourselves?
We are a kind of a mix of service provider and aggregations. Basically, you cannot provide all the services, under through one channel. So if I am providing, I cannot go and do a suit in a Supreme Court. So I have to have my lawyer over there to do the litigation.
Okay,
for the
we've got about 10 minutes left, and I'm going to go back to Anurag ji because he does his rapid fire. Shruti, just let me put a larger perspective to you before that.
Yeah.
In the current environment that we are, we've always been stuck in many twilight zones. One twilight zone is that we suddenly start appreciating things, even Indians who do well, because they've done well in Silicon Valley. Okay, if you happen to live in San Francisco, you're therefore somehow better than the Indian entrepreneur. And we keep looking, the ghar ki murgi kind of issue which we have in this country. The other issue is that we've just been swamped, right? I mean, the biggest tech players in the country right now are still foreign countries, whether you're Amazon or your WhatsApp or your Facebook or Instagram. They've all come from outside because we took a judgment call, which is the right judgment call, to say that we are going to be open to international competition. The Chinese had a different model. They set up their WeChats and Baidus by basically blocking out the rest of the world. Is there a space emerging now between the two where the credibility of an Indian entrepreneur as a disruptor given Izzat in his own country is now emerging, and there's maybe a little bit of space coming in because there's a Chexit happening.
I think more than exits, I think an Indian environment is very different for any entrepreneur to even start with and come up with solutions. What works in the US might not work in India. As a rule of entrepreneurship, most entrepreneurs avoid like reinventing the wheel. Agar koi cheez already exists kar rahi hai, there is no point of me starting it and 100 other entrepreneurs starting the same thing again in the same market, because then it just saturates the market to a point that it becomes annoying for the customer. So I think what always makes sense for entrepreneurs, and that's something that we've been seeing in India, that हम लोग इंडिया के हिसाब से जुगाड़ करते हैं, इंडिया के हिसाब से कस्टमाइज करते हैं. We know what our audience is like, what our customer is like, and that is how we pivot our business models too. So I think it's completely fine to take ideas from the West and completely
and beat them at their own game. Fair enough. But we also want you guys to become the next great disruptors of the world. No, then I can come and say, I did your interview. Remember me? I remember last time I met Anil Antony. I was in college, and I'd come to his house, and he was a very quiet and humble man, as much as his father, as much as he is today. And Shalabh, last time I met your dad was when we invited him to our college for a journalism fest. I don't know how long ago that was. 13 years ago, I think. Anurag ji, you got your 7 minutes, sir, for your rapid fire.
And Rishabh, since I didn't want to say that, but the sons are now famous than the fathers. So
yeah,
I just wanted to tell you, but they're here there because, Shalabh has hired top-notch talent in editorial, in business, and he's building what he's building. He also raised $10 million from India's most important business person. I know what he's doing. So
I'm very curious at what algorithm he's doing here to do this 10-second search thing. I need to learn all this. Maybe I need to go and meet him and maybe steal some ideas.
Rishabh, I think fundamentally, I think Indian entrepreneurs are attempting bigger successes than they did 2, 3, 5 years back. Today, the nature of entrepreneurship is such that some will fail. Some ideas will not.
But Anurag, when you say bigger success, what do you mean? Is that logic of, that once I hit 50 million, 100 million valuation, ho gaya ji, maine bana liya, let me sell out. When you saying bigger successes, what are you saying?
Unique. Every entrepreneur is unique. I think, as I said broadly, there are two kinds of entrepreneurs. One who build to sell, and one who want to build and build and build.
Build and never stop.
They also may get acquired, but so, broadly, I'm simplifying it. Never this. As you go along, you figure out. I didn't think any entrepreneur starts with something as a plan and he or she achieves it 100% like that.
True.
I think it's a process of discovery, reiterating, adjusting, adapting, pivoting, whatever you want to call it. But let me ask this question to all the entrepreneurs. Let me start with Shruti. Shruti, I want an honest answer. I know you're very honest. I see the kind of posts you make. Sometimes I tell myself that she's too bold. When I grow up, I want to be like her. But tell me, in the next 3 months, will the Indian economy be better, worse, or tepid like now?
It should be better. I think come Diwali, it should get better.
So, okay, it should get better from Diwali.
Yeah, because I think people have already moved on from COVID. Like, we've already joined our work and people have already started manufacturing. And we've already learned how to live with it.
Yeah, somebody tell COVID that, Anurag ji.
Anil Antony, your view?
Hi. So there's a point I wanted to make. So one, I definitely do think that there will be some areas where we are going to see good growth, especially in the digital side. But if you're looking at India's demographics, like we have a scenario where almost 90% of our population, they are in the informal sector. Their wages are completely hit right now, disrupted. Then almost 40-45% of them still work in the agriculture sector. And if you're looking at India's top 8-9 core sectors, like each of them actually has seen a massive drop.
Yeah.
So unless we see unless we see a massive increase in expenditure, which has to come from the government side. So there has to be a stimulus which has to happen in an individual level and an institutional level. And unless that happens, we are only going to see growth in some little areas, but it won't be enough to, I would say, revive the economy. So it has to happen sooner than later.
So good, worse, or tepid? You're saying it will be tepid. Is that what you're saying? That will be as weak as it is right now.
So if things remain as it is with the looming COVID scenario and no, I would say, let's say, stimulus
Spending by the
company,
government, spending
yes,
on infrastructure by the
then
government.
it will be tepid.
Okay. Uma Shankar Bhardwaj.
Yeah, definitely. I believe economy is improving, and I read a report, and I think our export is already reached by 90% of last year July, in July 2020. So definitely from last 3 months, country's export is improving. So I think it will be better in 3 months.
Okay. Mr. Jha, Sujit.
I think it will be in a better position what we are right now, because actually we are coming over from the fear of COVID, and people are actually they are start taking the risk. The startup and SMEs, they start focusing on their business. They are looking at their P&L. They are doing the cost cutting. They're trying to increase their revenue because they have to pay at the end of the day. They have to pay the salaries, the rent, the vendors. So I think people are, because in lockdown everybody was waiting. Okay, something will happen. We are depending on the government economic reforms and all those things. But now people understood that you have to come on your feet, and you have to work for it. You have to work for your payment. You have to work and make it all the payments done.
Okay. Shalabh.
I believe that it will slowly improve. People will feel worse because, of course, it's festival season, and a lot of people would not be able to celebrate the way they did last year. But I also believe that you will fundamentally be altering how Indian economy as well as Indian mindset, entrepreneurial mindset is. So we're setting the foundation for the next 10 to 15 years, which I think is a great improvement from what we have.
Beautifully put. Nitish Da, you have the final word. What's your outlook on the economy? Will it be
I make a
worse
distinction
off, better
between,
off, or tepid?
as I said, I make a distinction between business and economy. Okay, I think in terms of business, in 3 months, you will see some of the businesses doing better, which will create a good sentiment. But I don't see enough of the business doing better in the short term, primarily because we must understand that 29% is still manufacturing, and industrial growth has been really, really, really low. The capacity utilization is going up very slowly, but the most important thing is that the order books are not there. So, that's really going to come under stress. I see the economy going down much deeper than what we think it's going to go down in the next 3 to 6 months. I see that as a long U curve. I think 23, 24 is when the economy will really be back on its track. Because if there is a shrinkage in economy, it will take a long time to come back. But yes, some businesses will do better. The sentiment is going to grow better. And in the long run, I think India is really going to make it.
Okay, well, we have agency to do something about these things. And thank you all of you for a fascinating conversation. And we really wish all your projects grand success. You're all part of the India story, and you have a friend here. I promise you in NewsX to push that along the best that we can. Anurag ji, thank you very much for putting all of this together as always.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.